What's going on, people? Marvin Sparks here, and today I'm joined by a special guest, none other than Mr. Diamond selling hotshot Shaggy himself. How you doing?
Blessings, man, every time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. So, for those who don't know, what have you been up to since, like, say, the past decade or so? Obviously, I know you've dropped a few albums, but for those who don't know,
Just doing the streets, you know, it's reggae.
yeah.
Reggae. We haven't done a lot of pop records or such. I did a couple of independent pop things, like I did I Wanna with Bob Sinclair, and I did the UEFA Cup anthem, Feel the Rush, and Fly High, and then I just kind of went back and doing some underground reggae stuff. So I've been mainly on the dancehall scene and on the reggae scene, and just kind of doing things to support my touring, really, more so than anything else, you know.
For sure. I mean, because the first I remember you going like deep into the reggae was like Church Heathen, which was like 2006.
Yeah, back into dancehall.
Yeah, exactly. So was that like a conscious decision to go back? Why was that?
Well, I just figure dealing with the majors, you know, put it this way: when you're doing pop music, there's not a lot of stations that are going to support reggae. You know what I mean? Most major stations give you reggae music 2 hours on a Sunday. So you start realizing that there's a lot of work that you have to do. As a reggae artist, to really make records and really compete in the mainstream, I have to make my records 10 times better than the average genre. And I have to work 10 times harder than the average genre. And even then, when you do that, and you do win, and you become the person that's keeping the lights on in the record company, they still don't want to give you the budgets and the priority status. You know what I mean? So it was just a point where we just kind of get frustrated with the label, and, you know, here I am, I make a record, and I remember when nobody was in my studio. And as soon as I sent 10 million, I see guys in ties and suits trying to tell me how to make it. So it was just a period I was going through where I wasn't really happy with how I was treated at the label, despite the amount of records I've sold and how they're trying to control what I was doing. So I just went rebellious.
I heard that.
I said, all right, dance hard. I go dance hard, you know what I mean? And I know at that point they wouldn't be interested in that. So, you know, I kept doing dancehall until they just got fed up and just dropped me.
Yeah, I understand that. Because I mean, at the moment we're currently going through something over here. I'm pretty sure you probably heard about it because it's like the recent news. But like earlier this year, Kiss FM moved Rodigan from 11 on a Sunday night to 12 a.m. on a Sunday night.
Yeah.
And then just last week, Choice FM dropped Daddy Ernie, Natty B, etc. Yeah, so
this is what I've been predicting for a while.
Why do you think it is?
Well, you know, if you keep doing music that is not going to cross the boundaries and cross the barriers and create some sort of steam within the core market, you know what I mean, and try to make some sort of hit on the mainstream market, then you're not a force to be reckoned with, because it's all about numbers. You know, these radio stations, they're depending on their numbers to survive and pay their bills. You understand? And if within those reggae time slots, if you're not having consumer shit, you know what I mean, then they're going to cut your time. And it's going to reflect down the line. Promoters now, major promoters are not going to book reggae. And we're going to go into a music of hustle. I've been predicting this from Jump Street, and nobody is sitting down here and listening. Right? You have to sit down and make music with visa. Music that can cross, music. We're not creating stars anymore. We're creating star apples. You understand? And this is what has been going on. But some of these DJs, they're to be blamed, because a lot of them really support the crop. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, for sure.
And one thing you can say what you want about Shaggy and say what you want about Sean Paul. You know, see, when we go ahead and make records, we're forced to be reckoned with on the mainstream.
That's definitely.
See, you know, even after I left the major, I still went ahead and did Feel Rush and Fly High throughout Europe, and I made my thing. Here I am doing my own label again and creating something from the streets again.
That's definitely. Speaking of which, like, I saw an article in the yesterday, I think it was, where they were talking about your album sales last week in America. Now, one thing I personally find is that they usually kind of treat reggae like it's supposed to be on par with hip hop, and I mean,
but you know, look at the numbers of what they said. Look at the numbers. They said my expectations wasn't up to par. But look at the other music. Look at all the hip hop that was released at the same time. A lot of them were at the same numbers. You know what I mean? People, you know, this is what I'm talking about. There's always somebody that has something to say when somebody is trying something, and they sit on their ass and do nothing. You understand? Think about it. When I did Hot Shot, my first release on Hot Shot, when Hot Shot was released in 2000, it came out with 17,000 sales. Pretty much a disappointment, which went on to sell 10 million. I'm doing an independent reggae album, right? I wasn't expecting to jump out of the box with 500,000 sales. I expected to start low. My single with Beres Hammond has been a massive hit within the streets. You and I know the street people don't buy record.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So I wasn't expecting to get sales. The song that was supposed to move the sales would be the Neo record. Once that goes into crossover rotation, we're only 5 weeks into the Neo record. You know what I mean? We released on the date of the 24th because we wanted to catch. It was the Grammy deadline.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we just released the album because we know that the album is jam-packed with songs that's gonna take us through to next year. But here you have these people who they always look at the negative. See, they were more damagers than anything else. It's just like Tessanne Chin the other day went on The Voice and did extremely well, and you have somebody writing, oh, what's the big deal? What is your big deal? You're hypocrite and haters, right? How come all of a sudden Tessanne Chin, who you have seen there the whole time, right? Now y'all creating all kind of excitement when she's been there the whole time singing her heart out and nobody paid any attention. And then now that she has done something to make you really take notice, then you're gonna sit there and criticize in your little publication here and there, right? And when we ask what you have done nothing but hate. You have done nothing to uplift the music. You know what I mean? Before them support them people, them talk with them bad mindedness in. Stupidness. This record is just starting, right? We never expected to start. We're on an independent label. We're distributing. We don't have major distribution. I do not want to go under major distribution because then I won't have control of the record. Okay, if a major label takes this album up right now as a full reggae album, it will crash because they will not know what to do with it. So I have to nurse it first. Right? If as it goes up, then I decide to go ahead and do something with it, or do something with them, then we'll cross that bridge while we're there. But for now, I'm doing everything out of pocket. I'm financing it. I'm doing it.
So would you say album sales are still important, like, or is it more about the impact and like the touring? Because as you said, you've been making stuff to support the touring.
A lot of these record companies comes up and look on it and said, if they had a crystal ball to look into the future, they would have realized, right, that the brand became more important than the masters. Remember, record companies used to fight to own the masters. But now in the digital age, the masters are free.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's now the brand. I put music out to enhance brand Shaggy. So I put music out to enhance our touring, to enhance our endorsement, to enhance brand Shaggy. So I put music for the credibility of Shaggy. It's not about record sales because nobody is selling records. Like I said, they're criticizing my sales. Look at all the other genres that was released around the same time. They're not very far off from me.
And they haven't got your budget. Like, well, they've got much bigger budgets, yeah. And at the end of the day, it's about the bottom line, isn't it?
So at the end of the day, you know, but it's just them little man in Jamaica just love talk, got them like talk, right? And they're just like little crab in the barrel, stupid idiots. They have nothing better to do. Yeah.
So sorry, going back to dancehall for a second, would you say that the reason why it's not popular is due to the artists, or do you think that, because I mean radio is very corporate now compared to how it was when you first came out. I mean, most of them are owned by big corporates now.
Right.
So would you say it's a thing of, because I mean obviously they're playing music just to sell adverts, and reggae and dancehall is like foreign music, really. So would you say that it's more to do with the corporate structure, or would you say it's to do with the quality of the music that's being made?
It's a little bit of both. One, it has to do, yes, it's harder now, and it is a corporate structure, but there's still ways and means to get your music out there throughout the pirate stations and the DJs, the mix shows, and the sound systems. All right.
Also the internet.
Right, and also the internet. You get it to the streets, right? So let's not just blame it on that, right? We have to absorb some of the blame. Some of the blame come on us as artists, right? A couple of things have hit us. One, there's been a lack of main big reggae artists being able to go out and work and travel because visas have been taken away, right? And then the new artists, they're having a little few tunes here and there, so you're not really creating stars. I think the closest we can say to a major star what we see can be building is probably between a Chronix right now, right, and maybe a Conscience.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm
totally
saying?
agree.
Other than that, an artist coming up with a one hit here, one hit here, they're not big enough to be pulling a venue, which is why I had to step into the genre. Other people like Barry Salmon and people like those who are solid ticket draws. You know what I mean? And that's what you have to do. So it's a collaboration of things why we're in this hole, right? And I've been seeing it coming, because you're gonna take this music as a hustle, and it's not a hustle.
Yeah, true. I was gonna ask you about those two collaborations actually, because obviously there's like loads of collaborations on there. You've got like Damian Marley, you've got Tarash Riley, you've got a few new female vocalists on there.
Yeah, man. You hear more about them too.
Oh, okay. Are they with your label?
They're all in my ranch.
Oh, okay. But yeah, Chronix and Conscience were the two that I thought, okay, yeah, that's like a good stamp of approval, them two, because them two do look like the best, like the roots reggae and the dancehall artists that are coming out. Yeah, so is that the reason behind putting them on the album then?
Yeah, man, because Conscience though, I did Couple Up.
Yeah.
And I produced that.
Okay.
You know what I mean, and co-write that with Conscience.
Okay.
You know what I mean, and put that out. So it's been an artist I've been looking at. I've been looking at Chronix from before he even break out. Through Q, my DJ, who was telling me from Jump Street that, yo, this is the next hype. And so for me to do this tune with Chronix was inevitable. I'd met Chronix on several occasions, sit down and give the pep talk, sit down and just support him. And he's gone out and he's doing extremely well. We did this track together. And I'm a dogs. I love what he's doing. He stood up. He even did something that I thought initially that he probably shouldn't have done when he said he's not going to go anywhere without his band.
Yeah, that was a bold move.
To promote the music, you might need to go out there solo and just go down in it. But he stuck to his gun and it worked for him. And that one I never seen coming. So he teach me something else new, right? So some artists I learned. So big up to Chronix for that. And doing things, you know what I mean? So we have to support these acts and write positive about these acts. When people sit down there and talk all these negativity, especially coming from Jamaica, for these reggae acts who are fighting an incredible battle out there, it's disheartening, you know?
Definitely.
Stupid at the same time.
Yeah. And the main collaborators on that album is Sly and Robbie.
Yeah, man.
So, obviously, legend rhythm production. How did you come up with the concept behind making a whole album with them, was it?
But Sly and Robbie and I talked about this album from about a year, 2 years before. We're on tour in Australia. And we just decided to say, we're going to make a record. That simple. And come at my house, sat down with the 30 tracks, and left for a year, and about another year after that we come back to Jamaica, lit a couple more, about 10 more. Then we come back to New York again, come back at my house and finish it. And we just decided to say, okay, we're going to put it out. It's not a Shaggy album, it's a collaborative album.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to start the Shaggy album at the top of the year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And obviously you sold like, I don't know, I know it was in the excess of 10 million on Hot Shot.
10 million on Hot Shot.
Okay.
More than over 10 million.
Yeah, exactly. So did you lose the desire to like sell records after that? Like, was it a case of reaching the top of the mountain?
It was just, you know, I had a record company that I and them just couldn't see eye to eye on a lot of things, you know what I mean?
I mean, like, as in, like, creatively, because I mean, like, all right, I'll give you an analogy. Like, with boxers, a lot of them will get to, like, a world championship level and think, oh, yeah, I finally reached the top of the mountain, and then they haven't really got the desire as much as they did before the hunger.
Records just stopped selling, period.
Okay.
The internet came in and records just stopped selling. You know what I mean? So, even if I was moving numbers, it wouldn't be at the level of what I was doing at Hot Shot. But at the same time, I, as a reggae artist, was never the artist. You gotta remember, I did Hot Shot on Britney Spears' catering budget.
Oh, serious?
You get what I'm saying? I don't, because if you're a corporate entity and they say we're gonna put $10 million invested into this artist's career, they're not gonna do it on a reggae act because there's no stations globally to support that. So if you're an executive saying you're gonna put that kind of money on a reggae act, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Because it's, you know, these are all publicly traded companies. So the minute that it doesn't work, you're sacked. There's no executive gonna put their ass on the line for that. They're gonna go with something that has worked already. They'll go with the Justin Biebers, the Timberlakes, the Britney Spears, the NSYNC, because they've seen the pattern of it working. There is no pattern of this working in reggae. It's never been. Before me and Sean and all of that, the biggest reggae was Bob Marley, and he was dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not that the king is dead, but
yeah.
Let's face it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to look at that. There's no corporate entity that's going to put that kind of energy into reggae music, and so that's what we were faced with from Jump Street.
Okay, and do you feel you get the credit that you deserve?
I really don't care.
Okay.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm at a stage like this. If I'm at 20-something years in this game, in 1993 I came out to say I was a one-hit wonder.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
And I went ahead and, you know, wrote a song that I did because they said I wasn't a writer, and I could, you know, I'm a one-hit wonder, so I had to do a record that was bigger than North Carolina, and one that I wrote by myself. And I stepped up to the plate and I did Bombastic. Right? And they said I wasn't dancehall, and I went back to dancehall with Church Eden and them things and run the place. You know, I even produced Cartel, which was one of the biggest dancehall, his first big hit, which is Slow Motion.
Slow Motion, yeah.
I produced it, you know what I mean? And I go back and do pop, and I come back and do reggae again. I'm thinking if it's over 20 years and I sold the numbers that I've done and I've gone back and proved myself and you're still not a fan, then you'll never be a fan. So fuck you. You know, that's kind of where I'm at. So for me, it's like where I'm at right now. I just do me. I don't really care what you say or anybody else say. I do what I want to do. Because that's music that. I'm free like that. You know what I mean? That's why I don't want to go back with a major. I had a conversation with more than one major executives because I know all of them. I could pick up the phone and call them. You know what I mean? And we've spoken on this record. And every one of them wants me to go back and make a pop record. And I'm not there. I don't want to make a pop record. I want to make a reggae record. This is where my head is. You know, my management was looking like, well, you know, you should do, no, I want to make a reggae record. That's what I'm doing.
Which you do have the freedom to do because
so you want
you
to
do
make
seem
a pop
quite
record,
content in that.
Go fuck yourself. Yeah, man, I'm doing a reggae record.
And lastly, do you get, I'm sure you must get a lot of people that see you on the road and say, it wasn't me.
Every day.
Yeah.
I've heard it about 5 times a day.
What's it like? Does it annoy you or do you feel...
Man, these are my children.
Yeah.
A song like It Wasn't Me, I didn't come up with. That was ordained to me. I'm just a shell. I'm just a man. The things that come through me, Mr. Bombastico, and these records, I couldn't, as a man, as a mere man, couldn't come up with that. That was ordained by something higher. If that's the case, then I would have just do it over and over and over and over all the time. I've been ordained more than one time, about 5 or 6 times already. But those are gifts from God. I could not, as a man, can't come up with that. You know, these are monsters. These are not just hit records. You know,
yeah, for sure.
These are monsters. You're talking big up.
Yeah, for sure.
Was
that
put
kicked
out
it off
in 1991.
Yeah.
Think about it. And still dropping the dancehall on most of them.
For sure.
Mr. Bombastic was 1996, Old Caroline was 1993. You know what I mean?
It Wasn't Me was like
2000.
in 2000, yeah.
You know what I mean? And these records are part of popular culture. I can't create that. That came from a higher being. That's ordained through me, through a different situation. I was given a gift of melodies, to write words and melodies. and they just come. I write things for other people, but that don't come from me.
Okay, and we have to wrap it up there. So the album's out now, out of many.
Yep.
One Music.
Out of many One Music, Shaggy and Sly and Robbie. Remember Reggae Rollover the 19th. Shaggy, Sly and Robbie, you know what I mean? Michael Rose, Agent Sasko, Tifa, Solid, Ranchi and T. At the time.